I'm Ilaya with KPFA. You're listening to Roots Communications. And in celebration of International Women's Month, it is my honor to present to you an interview with the one and only Maria Isabel Lopez.
Hi, Ilaya. Thank you for having me in Roots Communications.
Welcome and welcome to Sonoma County. Isabel, you used to be a former beauty queen, a renowned actress, an artist, and she is an advocate for women's rights and the rights of the Lumad peoples or indigenous peoples of the Philippines. Ms. Lopez, I'm very inspired about you and your work because you have done so much. I'd like to start out by knowing a little bit more about you, about your background, and if you would mind, if you could tell us what was it like growing up?
I did not grow up in a very comfortable area. I live in a kind of below middle class, not really depressed area in the Philippines. But I was fortunate to be given a good education, so I was able to take up courses in fine arts at the University of the Philippines. And I feel very fortunate to earn a degree in fine arts. So with my humble origins, it all started like dwelling in the arts, having a career in fashion design, working for the top 2 department stores of the country, moonlighting as a sexy model by night, and finally landing a crown in my head via the Miss Philippines pageant, representing the country in the Miss Universe pageant in 1982.
That's wonderful. And you were, I believe, 22 years old in 1982?
I was 24. I was 24, yeah.
So you won Miss Binibining Pilipinas Universe in 1982. What was that experience like for you, and what did you learn from all of that?
Well, I learned that a lot of these beauty queens from all over the world, when we converge in the Miss Universe pageant, most of them are like, at least during my batch, they were like children, very childish, because I was already 24 and I was like kind of more matured. And it's great meeting girls all over the world, but it's also the first time I experienced racism, not particularly towards me, but there was a point when we were invited by the president of Peru. So you do like courtesy calls, and you will see the Peruvian first lady. She would make beso, hug you, every candidate. And since I'm letter P, the Philippines, ahead of me is Miss Papua New Guinea. So when she was embracing all the other blonde candidates, when it was the turn for Miss Papua, I could see her face, like she was like very uncomfortable with a frown in her head, like she wasn't like a human being because she's dark skinned with curly hair. She was like doing this like with a frown in her face. So I said, oh my God, that's how it is. And it was during the pageant also that I experienced like there was like Miss Turks and Caicos. She's also a black candidate. She had a nervous breakdown. I think she went through so much, and she felt that at least during the 80s. That was my batch. Yeah. Well, it's an eye opener for me because it's a given that there's the glitzy glamour of women representing the country in the Miss Universe pageant. But I just want to also talk about the other side that you see.
Great, wonderful. So early on, you got into acting career and made movies with some of the biggest names in the industry. And you received lots of nominations and won awards for your roles. And what was, in your acting career, what was the biggest risk you've taken that you feel has paid off?
I would say starting out in meaty roles. That's how you really kind of level up your career, when you accept daring and sexy films. And in my country, I was like considered an icon in the industry because it was the first time that they ever showed frontal nudity on screen. And I did that. I started that that trend. And after that, everybody else followed. In my country, way back in the 80s, we didn't have classification. We only had censorship. So they like kind of cut those sexy scenes when there's breast exposure. So, but now it's changed. Now we have classification. There's R18, R16. So I would say taking that route, doing sexy films, and then gradually getting away from it, although it wasn't really easy to do that, and reinventing yourself in your acting career. I think that really paid off, and I think it's not really the popularity, but it's the longevity that matters in the industry.
And as an actress, what potentials do actors have to make change in the world, in your opinion?
Oh, you know, when you're known and when you have a name, you have great responsibility when you open your mouth, because people listen to you, people believe what you say, and you get a lot of media mileage. So there are like many things that are happening in my country that I needed to help give a voice. Like, for example, in my country, the Lumads, or the indigenous people, you know, their ancestral lands were taken away from them by these companies that engage in illegal logging, mining, and poisoning the waters, the forests, you know, contributing to deforestation. I kind of like support the Lumad activities. I'm very active in the Lakbayan. It's the annual event where indigenous people would come to Manila and air and voice their sides and like their demands. And right now there's one Lumad character. Her name's Bai Bibiaon. She's actually the first datu or chieftain, female chieftain. For her to be elevated to the level of a chieftain, it's not easy. Being a woman, because she's 90 years old, the place of women in the Philippines is kind of like, you know, it's always the men leading and the women behind. But for a women chieftain, the first ever we have, it's not a joke to come to that position. And I'm right now doing a film, a biopic on her life. It's called Bai Bibiaon. And incidentally, she's a Tandang Sora awardee in the Philippines this February 23. Yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. We're looking forward to that film. Is that something that you are also, are you doing the acting on that, or are you doing the directing?
I'm doing the line producing. I have an award-winning filmmaker who has done documentary films on human trafficking and other issues in the Philippines. I'm doing, there are 3 timelines in the film. The first timeline is the young Bai Bibiaon, when she learned how to fight the tribal wars, make her own weapons, booby traps. The second timeline is the more matured Bai Bibiaon, and I'm playing that. The third timeline is going to be the actual Datu chieftain, and she's doing the narration on the third timeline. And I'm really excited. I hope to show that film here in the U.S. and all around the world to give the Lumads, or the indigenous people of my country, a voice.
That's amazing. Let us know when that movie comes out. What is this woman's name that you're talking about? If you could spell it for us, because I'm not sure if I'm...
She's called Bai Bibiaon. Bai in Tagalog refers to woman, babae. And then Bibiaon, that's her name. Like B-A-I space Bibiaon. And she's quite a prominent figure in the last 1 billion rising. In celebration of Valentine's Day, as the day where women really get together to fight for peace and justice. She had her own 1 billion rising in Davao. Yes, and she's very prominent in all these events. People from the United Nations, when they come to Manila, they would interview her. And I was fortunate to be able to do her first, her biopic, because she's very aloof and wouldn't want the Westerners to like use her and exoticize her. I had to like go through like an elephant passing by the eye of a needle. I mean, to win her trust, that she will trust me, trust what I'm doing, to work on her documentary. So I think it's one of the greatest achievements I've done in behalf of women, the women's struggles, and the fight of the indigenous people.
That's amazing, and I'm so proud of you for doing that. I also want to talk about you being an artist, because you are a fine arts graduate in the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and also a member of NCCA, the National Commissions for Culture and Arts. Please tell us about your work as an artist.
I've been an artist since I was young. I would like do part-time jobs teaching kids on the block how to sketch and paint. And I took a fine arts major in advertising, and then work as a fashion designer, illustrator, and then all of a sudden a beauty title and show business got in the way, so it kind of took second place in my life. And then but I've always continued using my art for my for the things I'm fighting for my political beliefs, like there's like the case of these missing students from UP abducted by General Palparan. And I did an artwork in one of the fundraising of this Desaparecidos. It's a group or organization of people in the Philippines whose families, children were kidnapped and missing by the military. So those who were abducted and cannot be found, some are probably killed. They would like do fundraising, and I would make artworks, and whatever they sell, I donate it to them. Yes. So it's this artwork I did at si Cheryl and another character. I made like an artwork of a nude female body splattered with blood, because they were like raped by the military and like killed. And then like there's an artwork here. I wish the radio could show it, where I did an artwork of a political prisoner feeding her baby. She delivered her child while she was detained at the Camp Bagong Diwa in the Philippines. And she was like breastfeeding the child. She's probably one of the happiest political prisoner in the camp, because she's with her baby, but not for long, because I think when the baby was 6 months, it was taken away from her and surrendered to the Department of Social Welfare and Development Services. So that's one of the things I do to use my art, my talent, to give voices and to expose what I believe in. Yeah, I was really fortunate that I met these people. They have helped me grow as a woman, because I had like this hands-on experience meeting them. Yeah, and I'm proud to say that I'm bringing my art finally here in Sonoma County in an art exhibit. It's called Art at the Source. It's sponsored by Sebastopol Center for the Arts. And the event, it's going to be on June 3 to 4 and on June 10 and 11 here in my studio in 1313 Scheibel Lane, Sebastopol, California. As you see, Art at the Source features like hundreds of artists in the area. And we're having a preview exhibit at the Sebastopol Center of the Arts. On May 18, it's the reception and opening of the Art at the Source exhibit. Yeah, and I'd like to invite each and every one of you to come over and take a look at the artworks of so many artists. Very, very talented artists. The preview exhibit will feature the artworks of all the participating artists here in Sonoma County, particularly Santa Rosa and here in Sebastopol. And it's my first art show here, so I'm really excited. It's going to be, once again, 2 weekends in June 2017, June 3 and 4, and June 10 and 11. So I'd like to welcome all of you to my studio and have a look at my art. I'm doing mixed media, mosaic art. I combine them with stained glass, smalty, natural stones, sand mortar, and mix them with acrylic and textured like modeling paste. So I'd like to invite everyone to come over to my studio and visit it. Once again, it's called Art at the Source.
Thank you. And I saw your art, and you also work with stones and lapis lazuli and crystals. It's really beautiful. Quartz. It's really, really beautiful. I'm just curious to know which artist influenced you?
I believe that a person has to continually grow. Even you, Ilaya, I mean, you have grown so much. Like motherhood, it will have a tremendous effect on your growth as a woman. And even like you're doing aromatherapy, these things, indulging in natural things and creating them. And even like when you work with coconuts, the tree of life, these are meant to enhance you. At the same time, like you could like use them to benefit others. Well, in my art, it's a continuous evolution of me. Like I started with the blackboard and chalk, and then I went to school, did sculptures, painting, acrylic, did graphic arts, and then you'll like do paintings, mixed media, and then all of a sudden I got fascinated by the healing power of natural stones and river rocks, found materials. Like one doesn't really have to invest in so much money buying all these art materials from art stores. Like go to your backyard, there's a lot of artistic things that you can put together. So that inspired me and helped me evolve into an artist. Yeah.
Well, Miss Isabel Lopez, you are an inspiring, amazing woman. You've done so much. I know you have a new movie out, right?
Well, I just had a movie premiere of one of my films. It's called Swipe. It's a film produced in the Philippines. It's about the social dating apps and the dark side of it, because you know how it is that when you go on social dating apps, although there are like some successful marriages coming out of that, there's also like the dark side. There's so much deceit. And my other film that went to the Cannes Film Festival last May of 2016 is still making the rounds of around the world, and we already have a North American distributor. We were almost shortlisted for the Oscar Best in Foreign Film category. We placed, I think, number 9, but we're very happy that Ma Rosa, the film by Brillante Mendoza, is still traveling the world. So it's still showing, and I just finished a Filipino TV series. It's called Doble Cara or Double Face, where I played an inmate. An inmate, and I'm like the bully. Yeah. And of course, the film by Bibiaon, we're now doing pre-production on the film, and we hope to start filming this April. And our location will be shot in Davao, where Baby Bibiaon comes from. And then we'll be shooting like in the hills of Lukban, Quezon also. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that movie. And what do you think is going to surprise people about this movie?
Oh, well, it kind of like exposes the kind of society we have in the Philippines on women's role. Because Baby Bibiaon, she's 90 years old now, and she's still very strong and powerful. She never got married because her life was dedicated to the community. And she thinks that, having a husband is going to deter her or stop her from pursuing the things that she needs to do. Like, she believes, like, she can build her own house, she can, like, raise and live alone by herself, and like her life is like dedicated to the fight, to the Lumad struggle. Yeah, so that's one film I'm really looking forward to, because we hope it will be finished in time for the celebration of International Women's Month. But because of some conflict in schedule between my director, the stars, and we're still doing the script development, so it will like kind of have delays. But hopefully by this year, we will be able to show it here. And Ilaya, sorry, but I really talk too much. Ask me a question, I'll give you a mouthful. And this film is funded by the NAPSI, National Anti-Poverty Commission, because the Lumads and women is part of their agenda in poverty alleviation. So the film is kind of like there's aspects in the film where it will show how women can be self-reliant, can be empowered, and can like how she lives in the community where they can like plant, raise animals, kill their own pigs, make their own herbal medicine, and in a community they can be like self-reliant and sustainable. Those are the things that will be shown in line with the principles behind the Anti-Poverty Commission. Yeah.
Thank you. Before we go, I would like to, for people who wants to know more about you and your work and your upcoming work, how can they get a hold of you?
Oh, please check my website. It's www.mariaisabellopez.com. And there's also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BeautyQueenMIL. And I'm also on Facebook, Maria Isabel Lopez. So please check it out, and please visit my website. And I hope to see all of you guys on the upcoming event, Art at the Source. And this is going to be on June 3 to 4 and June 10 and 11. And reception will be on May 18 at the Sebastopol Center for the Arts, the preview exhibit for Art at the Source.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Ms. Isabel Lopez. It's my honor to talk with you today. You're listening to Roots Communication, and this is Ilaya Malaya.